We're looking forward to 4 days of learning, sharing ideas, networking, and just as importantly, having fun. That builds teams, and that's what we really are here, a team of coatings people. And we'll do this with all of our colleagues from the industry representing all the various facets of the industry. And I'd like to also thank everyone for coming today. My first meeting with SSPC several years ago was right here in Orlando. We fit in one small room and we had tabletop exhibits. And from that we've grown to, as Bill will tell you later, to a membership of over 10,000. So the organization is doing well and it's moving forward. I'd also especially like to invite the first-timers, and even more importantly, the young folks. We are going to award some scholarships to some young folks later. These are the people that are going to be the lifeblood of our organization. They're our future. As some of us move on to other opportunities in life, it's these young people. And the industry has changed over the years. It's changed from learning this industry by rote to actually having college university courses in places like North Dakota, Akron, University of Southern Mississippi, specializing in polymer science. Now I'd like to recognize some of the SSPC past presidents. Well, before going to that, no, I'm sorry, back up. And what I'd like to do is to have the individuals stand, hold your applause until you see me applaud to provide the recognition. Hopefully, most of these folks will be here in the audience today. Carl Angeloff, PE, Bear Material Science, LLC. Carl here? There he is. Russ Brown, Polycon. Russ? How could we ever do without Russ? The board is, with Bob McNerdy's spill on it, I can't say it's calmed down very much, but but Russ certainly added some color to our board. Robert Kogler, William Medford, Inspect Incorporated. Bill here? All right. Bill is also an honorary life member. Donnie Riddle, Sherwin-Williams Company. Is Donnie here? All right. Donnie used to be our wine connoisseur. Now we turned it over to Bill, so I'm not so sure how that's going to work out. Steve Roeder, Carpro. Jeff Theo, Vulcan Paint. Ralph Trollo, L&R Consulting. Ralph is also an honorary life member and the John D. Keene Award winner. Ken Trimber, KTA Tater, also John D. Keene Awards winner. We also have two past presidents on the board. They're Bob McMurdy and Steve Collins. At this time, I'd like to present the plaque to Steve Collins, our past president. I'd also like to recognize some of our previous award winners. I'd also like you to stand, and we'll hold the applause until we've recognized each one of you. An honorary life member, David Boyd of Vulcan Painters. David is also a John D. Keene Awards member. Bill Carbert, William Carbert of KTA Tabor and Carter Incorporated, who is also the recipient of the John D. Keene Award of Merit. Ken Tater, KTA Tater, who is a past recipient of the John D. Keene Award of Merit. Thank you all. I'd also like to recognize Anita Soshi, the editor-in-chief of JPCL, and the Technology Publishing Company staff. I'd like to thank the SSPC staff. These folks just do a fabulous job of putting these conventions together, but this is only the outward appearance of that labor. In reality, they spend many, many hours in various capacities serving you, the membership. I'd like them to stand and be recognized at this point. The staff. I'd like to remind you that this organization, SSPC, the Protective Coating Society, is not the staff. It's not the Board of Governors. It's you folks. You folks, the membership, own this organization. We only serve at your pleasure. We become the caretakers of the organization for a short period of time. I'd also like to, if any one of you have any ideas for improvements, whether it be the way the conference is conducted, the way the standards are handled, any issue that you may have with the organization, your organization, bring it up to the staff. If you don't receive the answer that you think is response to your question, also you can bring it up to any member of the board. Again, we serve at your pleasure. We represent you, the membership. You also have to remember that these meetings just don't happen by circumstance. It takes money to run the organization. And no, I'm not the preacher going to pass the hat this morning, so feel comfortable there. But what we do have are a number of sponsors that sponsor this meeting, without whom the meeting could not go forward, especially with the some of the social events that take place during the course. In the Platinum Circle, Carboline, responsible for the SSPC welcome reception, which is this afternoon. I encourage all of you to attend that. It's open to all of us. Jotun Paint, who is sponsoring the SSPC After Party, which is a new event for us this year. I encourage you all to attend that. In the Gold Circle, Alnec, who is sponsoring the Cyper Lounge. How could we do without a Cyper Lounge these days? Elcometer Incorporate, they're sponsoring the Wyndham Clings. The Brock Group, up into the silver. The Brock Group and the Hampton Roads chapter are sharing the sponsorship of the SSPC closing party. Chlorid, who is sponsoring the water stations. Coatings Pro magazine, who is sponsoring the floor decals and the coffee break. The Felsco, who is sponsoring the cell phone charging stations. Again, what could we do without a charging station in these days? Eagle Industries, who is sponsoring the trash cans. Hold Tight, who is sponsoring the aisle sign and floor decals and notebooks, helping us to know where we're supposed to be going. Jotun Paint, who is sponsoring the video proceedings and the coffee break. And lastly, PPG, Protective Coatings who are sponsoring the lanyards. The Bronze Circle, Dunham Engineering, IMIA, Limnus, LMCL, PTQ Safety Goggles, Sherwin-Williams, True QC. All of us, let's please join in applause and thank you for the people sponsoring this organization. This time, I'd like to go over the agenda. Again, we have a full meeting this morning. I'll first start out by introducing the Board of Directors. Then Terry Sowers will do 2 chapter awards. Anita Soshi will follow Terry and give the JPCL editors and the Outstanding Publications Awards. Anita will then be turned over the podium to Bill Shoup, our Executive Director. Bill will then cover all the details of our organization, including SSPC membership, financials, highlights of the conference. He will then read the outstanding structural citations, and I will have the honor of presenting the awards to all the recipients. Bill will also read the SSPC President's Lecture Series, Women in Coatings Impact, Coatings Education Technical Achievement, Executive Directors, and the John D. Keene Award, which I will present to each one of the awardees. We will then present the highest award that SSPC gives out, which is the Honorary Life Membership. Since this is our annual meeting, we'll also ask if there's any new business. And if you have new business, and you can bring it up at this point in time, not right now, but when we get to that part of the program. Okay, now I'd like to introduce the Board of Governors. Again, I'd like for them to stand, hold the applause, or throw in the paper cups, which the case may be, until we all have been announced. Again, I'm Ben Fultz with Bechtel Corporation. I've been an individual member since the individual membership was offered, and it just proves that if you hang around long enough, they'll make anybody president. So, okay, President-elect James R. King. Jim is from the John B. Economos Incorporated. Vice President Skip Vernon from CTL Incorporated. I've already introduced Steve Collins and the immediate Vice President from Air Products and Chemical Incorporated, which happens to be one of Bechtel's competitors, but it shows even competitors can work together in these kinds of circumstances. Now my pleasure to introduce the rest of the board. And I'd like them again to stand and stay standing. Recognize that serving as a board member is strictly a voluntary position. There's no bills and no frills. You know, we come of our own accord. Our company sponsors us to come to these meetings. And our main purpose is representing you, since that's where we came from as individual members within the organization. Start with Gunnar Axel from Sycon Worldwide, Derek Castle, Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, Jay Cranker from Draco LLC, Gary Manis, Alsatis Brothers Painting, and I said that wrong and I apologize, Vic Pilata from ARS Recycling, Dr. Brian Scarry from the Sherwin-Williams, Marty Stammy from the Brock Group, Joe Walker from Elcometer, Gail Warner from the Huntington Industries, Newport News Shipbuilding, and Bob McMurdy, Emeritus, ex officio rather. Now, emeritus may be a better word, Bob. I'm not sure about that. I've tried not to, believe me. We'd like to thank these and the board members from the past for volunteering to serve the SSPC. And again, these people represent you. The demographics of the people on the board are such that it represents all the different facets of the organization. This time, thank y'all. At this time, I'd like to talk about a couple of things that's near and dear to me. One is participation. It's good that you come, and it's good that you have the interaction with your peers in the industry, whether they be at the top or the bottom of the food chain, whichever way you consider the top and the bottom. But it's also very important that you participate in the committee activities and the other activities within the organization. These standards that we develop are the lifeblood of the coatings industry. They help to set the standard. They help to normalize and level the playing field in order to maintain a competitiveness where everything is fair. If people with the knowledge do not participate in these committees, then we don't get the necessary expertise to make sure that all the different facets of our industry are represented. Over the years, we went from significant committee memberships with some very vigorous discussion. As I was talking to Jerry Woodson earlier, I learned more participating in the committees than I did attending some of the seminars, because you got the real world aspect of what was going on. So volunteer, get involved in the committee activities. The other aspect of the committee activity, if you don't get involved and your interests are not represented, how can you then take fault with the standard? Many times I've heard people say, that standard's not worth anything. It doesn't take this into consideration. And my first knee jerk is to say, well, did you participate? Did you spend your time providing the information and input into this consensus standard? And if the answer is no, then you have no right to find fault with the standard. So again, committee participation, get your point across. Let's make it a true consensus. Let's level the playing field. And most of all, we need your technical expertise. Next, I'd like to talk about participation on the board. As I said earlier, this is a voluntary job. We don't get paid, except by the companies that sponsor us. We might get a meal or two out of the deal. However, it's a very important position. It's important that everyone know that the board members are truly representatives of you folks in the audience. We are your representatives, just like, I don't want to use the word like Congress because that may set the wrong tone here, but at the same time, we are your representatives. And if you've got issues, you can bring them forward to the board, but more importantly, aspire to becoming a board member at some point in time. There are certain qualifications. They're written into the bylaws. Look at those. They're posted. But at the same time, you know, serving on the board is an honor and a privilege, but everyone has that opportunity to do so, and if you aspire in that direction, you need to be preparing yourself to move in that direction. Now, I've already talked about if you have any issue with any of the goings on within the organization, you can bring it up with the staff. The staff will either handle it or, if necessary, escalate it. And if necessary, we're not looking for a lot of complaints, but at the same time, if you've got a legitimate gripe, you can bring it up with the board if you feel that the staff hasn't adequately handled it. The last point I'd like to make is getting young people involved. I know I personally have done my best to get young people involved, and that was a change. Here about 5 years ago, I was very resistant to bringing any young people on board. I said, these folks don't know anything. They're right out of college. How can they add anything to the organization? Boy, how wrong I was. I hired a couple, brought them into the organization. They taught me things I didn't know. Full of vinegar, full of ambition. I encourage you all to be looking at the new hires out of college to bring into your organization. It elevates the academic standing of the organization and puts it on a more firm footing to make it into a truly professional organization. At this time, I'd like to recognize some young folks from the universities that for 5 scholarship winners. Again, these are our industry's future, but it's our challenge to bring them on board and get them involved. That's all of you. Education is the way. And all you got to do is look around and see people like myself, and then Bill of all things. Look how old Bill is. You know, we got to have replacements for us young guys as well as the old guys. You know, so again, just my point. Look at these young folks, get them involved. They're our future. They're our lifeblood. Of course, I'm getting younger and Bill's getting older too. That's another problem. But okay, at this time, I'd like to turn the podium over to Ms. Terry Sowers, who will present the Outstanding Chapters Award. You need this, or you got your...
Each year, it's my honor to announce the awards for the SSPC local chapters. First, I would like to thank all of the officers and steering committee members and volunteers who work on behalf of SSPC to make our local chapters successful. You're a very special group of people and a key part of what makes SSPC such an outstanding organization. Each year, we give one award for the Outstanding North America chapter and one for the Outstanding International chapter. When selecting chapter awards each year, we consider all of the chapter activities and the overall operation of the chapter when we consider the awards. The Outstanding North America chapter is the Midwest chapter. The Midwest chapter just received their charter in May of 2013. The first meeting the group planned was canceled due to a snowstorm. Members in the area were sending me emails and calling me with their status and trying to get to the restaurant, but when they got there, it was closed. We succeeded in the meeting on our second try. It was a very spirited meeting, and to my amazement, we had people vying to become officers. If you participate in volunteer organizations, you know almost how rarely this ever happens. Since getting their charter in May, the chapter has held numerous activities, including a golf tournament, our first Oktoberfest bowling, and their first Christmas party. While their events have been social so far, this group is very serious about bringing training to their members and bringing them together in the local area. They use every opportunity and every tool available to them to reach out to their members. They challenge each other and rely on each other. Their enthusiasm, dedication, and creativity are exactly what it takes to make a chapter successful. The officers of the Midwest chapter are Chair Dan Hendrick, Madison Coatings Incorporated, Vice Chair James Creed, the Sherwin-Williams Company, Secretary Ernie Dunbar, Manta Industrial, and the Treasurer Gregory Barracateris, Era Valdivia, the Steering Committee, Ryan Cragen Polygon, Lars Cedarquist Seymour Paint, and Scott Arendt from Dryco Inc. Would chapter officers please come up and accept the award? The Outstanding International chapter for 2013 is the Saudi Arabia chapter. The Saudi chapter is focused on creating increased awareness of SSPC in their area. The chapter has worked toward getting SSPC programs for blasting, painting, and inspection approved by Saudi Aramco, SABIC, and other major companies and industries in the area. They are also emphasizing the need for contractor qualification. Their activities in 2013 included the following: a PCI Level 1 and 2 course. In April, a technical presentation about air blast inspection equipment with 100 people participating. In May, a meeting that was jointly sponsored by ASM Saudi chapter with about 120 participants. And in June, a presentation by an equipment manufacturer on the use of latest inspection methods with 70 people attending. In October, the chapter participated in the Middle East Steel Conference in Dubai, where major companies participated. The chapter chairman, Mr. Mana El Mansour, chaired the coatings part of the conference. They also had a stand in the exhibits area managed by chapter vice chair Joji Cherian. The chapter also had a stand at the Middle East Corrosion Conference held in Bahrain. This was a 3-day conference organized by the NACE Saudi chapter and the Bahrain Society of Engineers. And the chapter hopes that the attendance at this conference will help to establish an SSPC chapter in Bahrain. The officers for the SSPC Saudi Arabia chapter are Chair Mana El Mansour, Saudi Aramco, Vice Chair Joji Cherian, Secretary Anthony Manuel from Saudi Aramco, and Treasurer Hassan Al Sagor, Saudi Aramco. Would the officers please come up and accept the award? I'd like to turn the podium now over to Anita Sosi. Good luck, Anita, on your first awards.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here today to present the Outstanding Publication Award and also the JPCO Editors Awards. Just a brief overview, the papers that are eligible for the Outstanding Publication Award and the JPCO Editors Awards were papers that were either presented at the SSPC Compliance Conference, the SSPC International Conference and Exhibition, or published in the JPCL from July 2012 to June 2013. Papers are rated on a scale of 1 to 5 in the following categories. 1, clarity of expression and organization. 2, originality of expression and organization. Originality of content or presentation. Importance to the protective coatings industry. And effectiveness of figures, tables, and examples. From a field of over 100 eligible papers, JPCL contributing authors and JPCL editorial staff select 5 papers to be considered by a second review team for the honor of outstanding publication. Each paper is reviewed and rated again on a scale of 1 to 5 using the criteria I just mentioned, and the paper that scores the highest is named the Outstanding Publication Award. The very first award today will be the Outstanding Publication Award, and it is the best technical paper or presentation. The winner this year is Vaughn O'Day of Tanemic Corporation, or company, I should say, for his article entitled Preparing Surfaces at Wastewater Plants, an overview of substrates, practices, and standards. This article was published in the September 2012 JPCL. In the article, Vaughn describes how surface preparation for the use of high-performance protective linings contributes to sustainability of wastewater infrastructure. Congratulations to Vaughn O'Day, and I believe Vaughn is here today to accept his award. Now the presentation of the JPCO Editors Awards. The very first JPCO Editors Award goes to Mark Susik, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Dr. Elif El-Yamak, and Hua Gu from the University of Akron for their paper entitled Self-Stratified Inorganic Organic Nanocomposite Coatings, the Next Leap in Coatings Performance. This paper was presented at SSPC 2013. Briefly, in the papers, the authors discuss research of inorganic and organic hybrid materials for coatings usages. Unfortunately, the authors are not here today to accept their award, but it will be, oh, Mark's here. Oh, I was told you weren't gonna be here. Hi, Mark. Mark is here to accept the award. So, Mark, come on up for your award, please. The next award, also a JPCL Editors Award, goes to Trevor Perry, who is an independent consultant, and Bill Woods of Marinspect Associates for their March 2013 JPCL article, Cargo Tank Coatings, A Stressful Environment. Briefly, in this article, the authors identify a variety of stresses that are encountered by marine cargo tank coatings. If these stresses are not identified and dealt with at the design and development stages, they can lead to premature failure. Illustrations of typical coating failures were also included in the article. The authors, I don't believe, are present today to accept the award, so it will be sent to them at a later time. Okay, the next award goes to Ellen Kerr and Dennis Graham. Ellen Kerr is with J. Ellen Kerr Anti-Corrosion LLC. Dennis Graham is with Yellowgate Consulting LLC. Their paper is entitled, Applying FBE to Pipeline Internals. This paper appeared in December 2012 JPCL. In this article, the authors detail the basic steps of applying fusion-bonded epoxy to pipe internals, all the way from surface preparation to inspecting the finished lining. The authors could not be here today to accept their award, so it will be sent to them at a later time. Next, Pascal Verbiest from Umicore Zinc Chemicals is also receiving a JPCL Editors Award for his May 2013 JPCL article, Developments in Zinc Primers for Corrosion Protection. In this article, the author reviews different types of zinc powders and how they are made, the types and compositions of zinc primers, suitable uses of these primers, and tips for application. Pascal is not here today to accept his award, so it will be sent to them at a later time. The fifth and final JPCL Editors Award will go to Philippe Lecalve, formerly with DCNS, France, Jean-Pierre Patasso, Direction Générale de l'Armement in France, and Nathalie Lebosec of the French Corrosion Institute, France, for their article, Influence of UHP Water Jetting on Shop Prime Steel in New Construction, Part 3, which was published in the August 2012 JPCL. The article was the third and final part of a study that involved testing 3 paint systems over UHP water-jetted panels that were coated with zinc-rich shop primers and compare the results to conventional grit blast-treated, similarly shop-primed panels. Here to accept the award today is Philippe Lecalve. I will now turn the podium over to Mr. Bill Shelp. Thank you.
I went out to the Reg desk. I changed my name tag to Old Fart, since Ben accused me of getting older. Okay, boy, my bald head shows up good, doesn't it? When I joined SSPC, I was 6'5", had a full head of hair, never swore. Okay, with that being said, this is our annual meeting, and before I start the 7 slides on operations and other stuff that people may be interested in, because this is your association, I'd just like to take 1 second for all the veterans in the audience to please stand up. If you're a veteran, please stand up. Ben is a veteran. Ralph Trallow back there was in old diesel submarines, and you know, I don't know how he fit through the hatch, but we kid the squids all the time, the Army guys. Okay, it's my privilege now to go over the operations, membership, and finance. I'm going to do that very quickly, unless somebody has any questions. First of all, these are the industrial affiliate members. We thank you. That's the highest level of membership support you can give. We really thank you for that level of support, helping the association move forward. And as you can see by the other numbers that I'll show, we've had a great year, not because of me, but because of the hard work of the staff and the many volunteers out there that help us every day. And I do mean the technical folks that are out there that have the coatings knowledge, really help the staff, whether you're a material supplier, contractor, paint supplier, or whatever. You have the technical knowledge, and I want to thank you for helping the staff. So that's the first slide of the industrial affiliates, and there's the second one. Let's give them all a round of applause. Thank you. Ben mentioned about individual membership. You see the last 5 years, you can see we finally broke the 10,000 member mark in individual membership, and we've got a long way to go. There's a lot of people out there we haven't touched, and we got to go out and reach out and touch them. Organizational membership has continued to grow also, and we're up over the 901. This is figures as of 31 December. So we have 901 organizational members. Let's talk about individual training and certification. When I joined SSPC way back in the end of 1994, this conference was our lifeblood. If we had a good conference, we had a good year. If we had a bad conference, it was not so good. So now we have changed the focus to training and certification. The two bars on the left are training classes, because not all training classes are certification classes. The two in the middle, the 2730 and the 2750, are training and certification, those training classes that lead to certification, and that's how many students we trained last year. We hope we get good feedback from the students. We hope we get good feedback from the instructors, because our goal is to make these classes better year after year. And if you need a class out there that you feel SSPC could offer to help the industry, because that's what we're trying to do, is advance this industry, please let us know. We'll work on developing it, and we will try our darndest to make it happen. On PCCP, that's always a subject that everybody likes to talk about. Painting Contractor Certification Program, we were up to 360 certified contractors from 329 last year. So that program continues to grow. We need to get the owners, we try to get the owners, we work on getting the owners to specify those QP1, 2, 3, et cetera. Let's talk about finances. Everybody likes to talk about money. I like money. Everybody likes money. But you can see we've grown around 500,000 in revenue, and our expenses grew a little bit, but we had a very good year. That is operational surplus of that $1,275. And that's not $1,275. That's $1.275 million for last year. And our reserve fund is 8.106, as it shows, which we finally gotten over 1 year of operational surplus in the reserve fund, in case if something would happen to the organization, bad year, economy start tanking again, we could at least last a while till hopefully we started a new cycle of a good economy. So that's the operations and finance. Let me talk about the conference, unless there's any questions. Okay, let me talk about the conference real quickly. The conference program was put together by what we call the EPAC. Bob Murphy from Sherwin-Williams was the chair of the EPAC. The following people took a lot of time, voluntary time, to come up with a program that you will be participating in the next 4 days. We are grateful that they spent their time, their effort, their time away from the job to help us develop the program that we hope you will find worthwhile. And when you walk out of here on Thursday or Friday morning or whenever you head back to your jobs, you'll say, you know, it was worth coming to the SSPC program. I learned something, and I got something more out of it than seeing the stupid mouse. Okay? I shouldn't say that very loud around a Disney property, but besides seeing the mouse. Okay. Our special programs, Ben mentioned about the welcome reception tonight, sponsored by Carboline. We appreciate that sponsorship for that opening reception. Great event. Please show up. The exhibit hall opening reception will be Tuesday, 5 to 8. A new one, after party exhibit hall, sponsored by Jotun. Again, Tuesday, 8 to 10. There'll be lunch in the exhibit hall. Wednesday and Thursday, and our closing party, and that's where I let my hair down if I had any. Okay? There's an old joke. If you go bald in the front, you're a thinker. If you go bald in the back, you're a lover. If you go bald from front to back, you think you're a lover. Okay? So with that, the exhibit hall hours are posted, and I will say this, please go through the exhibit hall, go see the vendors, go see the exhibitors. They spend a lot of money, time, effort to show you their wares. And what's important is you get down there, see the new different things they've got to offer, and make it a worthwhile trip. Make several trips down to that exhibit hall. Please go down and see what they've got. And we filled the exhibit hall. It's been a great year for the number of exhibitors we've had. Our next year's conference in good old Las Vegas. That's going to be simultaneous with the World of Concrete. We're going to be in the Las Vegas Hotel, which is right across the street from the convention center where the World of Concrete will be. So all you coatings guys, go over there and invade the concrete guys and tell them why they need to protect their concrete so we don't have like we did where I live. We had 2 bridges drop on interstate highways, and they were concrete bridges. So go over there and tell them they need coatings. Okay, with that, unless there's any questions, I'm going to go through the SSPC awards, and we're going to start the structural awards first, and the first award is the George Campbell Award. It's for outstanding achievement in the completion of a difficult or complex industrial or commercial coatings project. The qualities that may represent achievement in a difficult or complex structure may include work occurring in harsh or extreme environmental conditions, work completed under strict time constraints, work done with limited access or in high traffic areas, work on a structure with complex structural components, or lastly, a project that requires coordination with multiple trades or subcontractors. The winner is the Forest Hill Bridge Seismic Retrofit and Paint Project. The owner is the County of Placer Department of Public Works, Matt Randall, Senior Civil Engineer. The contractor applicator is the F.D. Thomas Incorporated, Grover Lee, Vice President, Division Manager, and Eric Anderson, Business Development Manager. Other key personnel: Art Needham, Superintendent; Anthony Matone, Superintendent; Steve Sparks, Project Management; and Felix Saldivar, Corporate Environmental Health, Safety and Health Manager. The coating material supplier, it was the Carboline Company, Doug Moore, Vice President; Global Marketing, Debbie Simmons, Senior Marketing Manager, correction, I screwed that up, sorry. The Carboline Company, Doug Moore, Vice President, Global Marketing; Debbie Simmons, Senior Marketing Manager; and Tom Calzone, General Sales Manager, West. Did I get that unscrewed, Tom? Okay. Other key participants involved in this project were Ray Tombaugh from KTA Tater, Quincy Engineering, the Hanna Group, and the Golden State Bridge. The project description: at more than 730 feet above the American River, it is the highest bridge in California and the 4th highest bridge in the United States. Built in the early 1970s, the Forest Hill Bridge was due for important construction improvements that included a seismic retrofit and repainting, since it had not been repainted since it was built in 1972. With 1 million square feet of surface, the total project was estimated at a cost of more than $74 million. The project required an SSPC QP1, QP2 certified contractor to remove and dispose of the 194,000 pounds of original lead-based paint from the structure and complete the repainting process. Would those award winners please step forward? The next award winner is the William Johnson Award for outstanding achievement, demonstrating aesthetic merit in industrial commercial coatings work. The qualities that are considered for aesthetic merit include color, gloss, or texture, or that the coating on the structure complements the environment while enhancing the structure itself. The coating may also represent a theme, an object, or a specific graphic design. The winner is Fir Grove Mutual Zone 2 Reservoir. The owner is the Fir Grove Mutual Water Company, Mitchell Hines, Board Trustee, and Larry Jones, General Manager. The contractor applicator was J&L Company, David McAndrews, President. The muralist, the artist brothers Rolf Getzinger and Peter Getzinger, are unable to be here today. The coating material supplier is to the Tanemic Company, Incorporated, Vaughn O'Day, Director of Wastewater. Other key personnel in the successful completion of this project: Scott McConnell, Tanemic Incorporated, and Mike Neppel, Cold Water Project Services. The project description. The project consisted of constructing a new water tank and associated facilities in the South Hill area of Pullup, Washington. The water tank is field welded AWA D100 steel standpipe measuring 70 feet in diameter and 105 feet tall. The mural includes Douglas fir trees ranging up to nearly 100 feet tall and a variety of other native plants that echo the trees and natural undergrowth ringing the tank site. The mural artists worked from a single hydraulic man lift to complete the work. There was no template, stencil, or even a grid to guide the layout, and the coatings were applied freehand using 6-inch rollers. Would the award winners please step forward? The next award winner is the Crone Canoy Award for outstanding achievement in commercial or industrial coatings work that demonstrates innovation, durability, or utility. The qualities that may represent outstanding achievement in this area include excellence in craftsmanship or execution of work, use of state-of-the-art techniques or products to creatively solve problems or provide long-term service. The winner is the Thornton Bank. The owner is C Power NV, Mr. Geert de Walle, Chief Operating Officer, is unable to be here today. The contractor applicator is Smulders Group, Ronnie Von Popel, and THV Seawind Dredging International. Representative Eric Boschum, Project Director, is unable to be here today. Coating material supplier, Hempel, Belgium, James Massalius, Marine Account Manager. The project description. Conservation of the jacket structural parts for the Thornton project was executed at several locations. The separate structures were transported to Belgium, where they were assembled, creating a 3D structure before shipping them to the Thornton Bank. The midsections were painted and metallized, covering 48 pieces with 6 different paint systems. The jacket legs were fabricated at the Smulders Projects plant, where they were assembled into jacket foundation and finished by adding resting platforms and boat landings. After connection of the midsection to the jacket foundation, it also got a complete touch-up using a known system. At the end of the project, a total of 152,000 liters of paint were used. Would those award winners please step forward? The next structure award is the Charles G. Munger Award for the Outstanding Industrial or Commercial Coatings Project demonstrating longevity of the original coating. The structure may have had spot repairs or overcoating with the original coating still intact. The winner is the Marco Island Prudential Realty Building, Marco Island, Florida. The owner is Prudential Realty, Gary Van Cleef, represented by Charles Stevens. The contractor applicator, Spectrum Painting, Robert Valentine, Executive Vice President, and Jeffrey Roberts, Foreman. The coating material supplier is the Tanemic Company, Incorporated, Vaughn O'Day, Director of Wastewater. The project description. When the old copper roof of this building began to fade and change colors in 2005, the building owner originally planned on replacing the whole surface, but decided instead to coat the roof with a fluoropolymer system. Coating a copper roof in southern Florida can present many obstacles, among them extremely hot surface temperature, daily rainstorms, and the interference of salty ocean air. This roof in particular was also seamed, sloped, and multi-tiered, which can cause issues with the coating's wettability and edge retention. The project was completed in April 2006 and has shined on since in southern Florida, still sparkling in the hot sun and tropical salty air more than 7 years after its completion. Would the award winners please step forward? The next award is the Military Coatings Project Award of Excellence. We have 2 award winners. This award is in recognition of exceptional coatings work performed on U.S. military ships, structures, or facilities. The first winner is the USS Ronald Reagan CVN 76. The owner, of course, is the United States Navy. Daniel Dunmeyer, Director of DoD Corrosion Policy and Oversight, Office of the Undersecretary of Defense Acquisition and Technology and Logistics, accepting on behalf of David Johnson, Director of Waterfront Operations, Puget Sound Naval Shipyard, who is unable to be here today. Other key personnel: Daniel Cooper, Preservation Project Manager, Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. The contractor applicator was International Marine and Industrial Applicators, LLC, Frank Griffith, Vice President, Joe Rello, Vice President, Sales and Marketing. Other key personnel: Paul White, Business Unit Leader, Chris Davis, Program Manager, International Marine Industrial Applicators, LLC. Coating Material Supplier, the Sherwin-Williams Company, represented by Mark Schultz, Project Development Manager, Marine. Other key personnel: Ray Meader, Senior Productive and Marine Sales Representative, the Sherwin-Williams Company. The project description: preservation was performed on the freeboard, underwater hull, sea chest, catwalks, and various tanks and voids and vent plenums. The appropriate square footage was 17.3 acres of steel, which was staged, encapsulated, and preserved while meeting an aggressive undocking schedule. This was the largest preservation availability ever at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. Would the award winners please step forward? The second award winner, and please bear with me because there's going to be a short video on this one, so I'm going to have to read, and there won't be any pictures until we play the video, because I really think the video is sexy and worth seeing, okay? Did my wife give him the, oh. What video you got loaded back? Okay. You took me off track, Ben. Oh. The second winner is the USS Freedom. The owner is the United States Navy. Dan, again, will accept the award on behalf of the commander, Patrick Tien, commanding officer of the USS Freedom, who's unable to be here today. The contractor applicator is YYK Incorporated, Paul Ralph, Operations Manager, and Michelle Ralph, Corporate Secretary, Treasurer. The coating material supplier was the PPG, Protective and Marine Coatings, Tom Morrissey, Business Development Manager, Government and Marine, Steve Feldman, Government and Domestic Marine Sales Manager, Al Kaminsky, Zone Sales Manager, and Julio Mojica, Technical Sales Representative. PPG, Protective and Marine Coatings, Ted Lands, Zone Sales Manager. Project description: commissioned in 2008, the USS Freedom went to dry dock in January 2013 to remove the existing failed coating system. It became the first warship since the 1960s to incorporate the U.S. Navy Federal Standard colors for camouflage, featuring black, haze gray, light gray, and ocean gray. Commander Tien, commanding officer of one of the USS Freedom's 2 active crews, said, "I want my ship to look like a warship. If we're going to paint it, we might as well go all the way." That's called HUA. Because the USS Freedom had to meet mission requirements, PPG and YYK Enterprises had to meet accelerated deadlines for supply and painting. Priming and painting began immediately, and the ship was returned to service in less than 6 weeks. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is the newest ship in the fleet, the littoral combat ship that can go close to shore to support operations close to shore. Even an old Army guy knows what a littoral combat ship is. So I would like the tape to play now, please. Okay, thank you. Would the award winners please step forward? Okay, I want to thank the committee who goes through the selection process. It's tough. We get a lot of good submissions for the awards, and it's really a daunting task to go through. So I do want to thank the committee for all their hard work in selecting this. Those of you that have known me for a while, and I've been standing up here for a lot of years, know that I like to have a sense of humor, and I like to have fun, joke around when possible. So I got this award submitted to me that I wanted to share with the audience because I think it's for lack of a better term, a hoot. So I called it the Off the Wall Award, okay? And it's Bob's deck, and it was submitted by Bob Ziegler, who used to be on the board. He used to own Ziegler Industries, and Bob's a friend of mine. But I want to read you his citation that he gave to himself. Bill, I wanted to enter my beautiful deck, which I stained this fall, and entered it in your Industrial Structures Award. I used top-notch surface preparation water blasting with a 4,000 PSI water blaster. This took 50 minutes. Then I rested for 2 days to let it dry. After that, I applied 5 or 6 gallons that I can't remember which of tainted stain. I used an airless sprayer, very high tech, and this took 1.5 hours. I would have finished in 1 hour, but the dog upset the can of stain, and boy, I had a mess. After I finished, I had an SSPC certified coating inspector check out the job. While we were drinking the second bottle of wine, he said I should enter your contest as this was the best deck stain job he had ever seen. I also painted my doghouse after the dog got so much stain on himself when he upset the can. I thought about entering my job in one of the major categories, but all of my friends would lobby the committee for it and decided not to stuff the ballot box, even though I'm from Illinois. Thanks, Bill, for entering this example of what your training courses can accomplish. With that, I'm going to have David Boyd, who's a friend of Bob's also, to come up and accept the first annual Off the Wall Award for Bob Ziegler. Okay, back to the serious stuff now. We have some very important awards to give. And the first one is the President's Lecture Series Award. Each year, the SSPC president chooses a technical presentation or technical program he or she feels reflects the essence of the paint and coatings industry and profession. This year, Ben Foltz, the current president, has chosen 2 presentations. Field and laboratory experience with polyurethane pipelines by Dr. Alan Scott-Ja, who is unable to be with us today. Dr. David Coronado and Dr. Bobby Joe Merton, and when size does matter, an in-depth analysis of the Brooklyn Bridge project data to determine the most efficient size of abrasives, blast containment units, and the workforce by German Weinblatt and Timur Kolczynski. Would those 4 individuals please step forward to receive their awards? Okay, the next award winners, we have 5 students in the audience. Would they please come forward? These are our 5, I'm going to do this from the cuff, there's no script. These are our 5 scholarship award winners. A couple years ago, the board started a scholarship program. It's open to SSPC members, children's, they have grandparents who are members, guardians are members, they can apply for an SSPC scholarship. These students took the initiative to come and do a submission to get a scholarship. The committee, again, had a tough time going through all the paperwork because they have to submit grade point averages, what they're going to do with the scholarship money. You know, they can't write down, I'm going to go out and buy beer and pizza. You know, it's got to go to their academic studies. And the board, in fact, has found this program so good that they've increased it by another $2,500 to give 6 scholarships away next year. So even though these people, these young people might not be in the coatings arena, at least they can go out and spread the word about SSPC, how SSPC helped them, and further their education by the membership, being members, and we're having the money to give this to the students. So I just want to have each student introduce themselves, say their university, and what they're studying.
I'm Taylor Krolak from North Dakota State University, studying civil engineering, and it's definitely a blessing to be down here away from the negative 16-degree weather from this morning. So thank you to the committee for selecting me as a recipient.
I'm Hans Meyer. I go to the University of Akron. I'm studying corrosion engineering right now. I'm currently on a co-op with a company called Colonial Pipeline. And I'd just like to thank you guys for helping me continue my education.
I'm Alicia Beebe, and I'm from and I go to Clemson University, and I'm currently studying industrial engineering. And I would like to thank the society for accepting me, for giving me this honor. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kurt Tobler. I'm a senior at Yale University studying environmental sciences, and I'd like to thank the society and also give a shout out there. If anyone's looking for a good EHS or compliance guy, I'm your man.
Hi, I'm Sarah Orvosh. I go to the University of Central Florida, where I am majoring in industrial engineering, and I'm also training to be an officer in the United States Air Force. So.
The next award is the Women in Coatings Impact Award. SSPC is pleased to announce the winners of the inaugural Women in Coatings Impact Award. The Women in Coatings Impact Award has been established by our SSPC Women in Coatings session attendees to recognize the talented women in the coatings industry who have contributed to creating a positive impact on the industry and in their workplaces according to the following criteria. 1, leads by example and inspires colleagues and team members to take risks and move ahead in their careers. 2, shows commitment to the advancement of the coatings industry. 3, has contributed to creating a positive impact on the culture of the coatings industry. This year, the committee has selected 2 women to receive the first Women in Coatings Impact Award. The first is Allison Kalin of AB Kalin Quality Consulting. Allison has been a member of the coatings industry since 1988. Allison developed and implemented the first protocols for air compliance with the abrasive blast cleaning, including visible emissions for Allegheny County, Pennsylvania. She opened the door for women to hold technical positions and led by example as she moved into leadership roles in the environmental, compliance, health, and safety. At SSPC, she co-authored the lead paint removal supervisor course, that's our C3, and the refresher course, that's our C5, and remains a principal instructor for both courses. Working in corporate quality assurance, she developed, implemented, audited, and maintained quality manuals that conformed to ISO 9001 standard, operating procedures, ASTM D4537, and SSPC QP5. Allison has an active presence on SSPC technical committees and in standards development. She received the SSPC Technical Achievement Award in 2005 and the JPC Editors Award in 2012. In 2013, she established her own company and was named to the JPCL list of industry top thinkers. The second award winner is Lana J. Ponsonby, Huntington Ingalls Industries, Newport News Shipbuilding. Since beginning her career at the shipyard in 1985, Lana has taught, tutored, or mentored hundreds of marine painters and marine coatings apprentices, ensuring they understand the critical role they play in the life of a ship. Lana has successfully achieved NAVSEA Basic Paint Inspector, that's NBPI certification, Marine Plural and Component Applicator certification, that's MPCAC, and Protective Coatings Inspector, PCI, Level 2 certification. She is an instructor for the MPPI and MPCAC and will soon qualify for the Abrasive Blast Cleaning Program, C7. One of her previous students, who's now foreman, said of Lana, as my instructor, her dedication, patience, and attitude toward those whom she is tasked to train or help is unparalleled. It is with pleasure that SSPC awards its first 2 Women in Coatings Impact Awards to Miss Allison B. Kalin and Miss Lana Ponsonby. The next award is the SSPC Coatings Education Award. The SSPC Coatings Education Award is given each year for significant developments in the dissemination of educational and technical information relating to protective coatings and their application. This year, we are privileged to have 3 recipients, Mr. Stephen Cogswell, Mr. Munawandi Dewadas, and Mr. Abdul Kim. We call the second one Dewa. It makes it easier. And we call the last recipient Banny. So I will refer to them as that going through. Steve Cogswell is a craft manager second at the BAE Systems Southeast Shipyards, LLC in Jacksonville, Florida. Steve has always made training his workers a priority and has been a champion of SSPC in our training programs. He is an instructor for C7, C12, C13, and C14, and is a proctor for the Coating Applicator Specialist Program, CAS. He is an active participant in the SSPC Instructor Committee. As an instructor, Steve is known as one of the best and always gets superb evaluations from his students. Dewa is from Bekasi, Indonesia. He came all the way from Indonesia to receive this award. He has helped SSPC establish our training programs in Southeast Asia by promoting and teaching our Protective Coating Inspector program in Singapore, Grace, East Java, and Surabaya and Batam, Indonesia. He has also taught our inaugural C7 and C12 courses in Taipei, Taiwan. He is an SSPC Protective Coating Specialist, PCI Level 3, and a PCI instructor. Banny is employed by Valiant Consultancy Service in Singapore. Banny has helped establish our training programs in Southeast Asia by promoting and teaching our protective coating inspector program in that section of the world. He has worked very hard to get the shipyards and other facilities in Singapore to specify the PCI and other SSPC programs. Banny is a PCI Level 3 inspector, a PCI instructor, and an SSPC protective coating specialist. Banny is unable to be with us today, so Daewalt will accept on his behalf. Would those three recipients please step forward? Our next award is the SSPC Technical Achievement Award. It recognizes outstanding service, leadership, and contributions to the SSPC technical committees and other special technical functions. This year's Technical Achievement Award goes to Dr. Lisa Detter-Hoskins, Senior Research Scientist at Georgia Tech Research Institute. Lisa chaired the SSPC Technical Committee that revised SSPC Guide 15, Field Methods for Retrieval and Analysis of Soluble Salts on Steel and Other Non-Porous Substrates. Her expertise with the methods, equipment, and analysis techniques described in the guide, and her effectiveness as a committee chair enabled the revision process to proceed smoothly. The resulting unbiased guide is a major contribution to the industry. Lisa knew about SSPC before we knew about her. In 2008, she called May Beggs to propose some improvements to SSPC Guide 15, which at the time was long overdue for revision. However, due to the wide variety of methods and products available for extracting and analyzing soluble salts, and the controversy surrounding interpretation methods, chairing the committee would prove a formidable challenge. Lisa, while willing to take on the task of reconciling diverse opinions while keeping the project focused and moving forward. Thanks to her initiative, impartiality, and expertise, the technical revision of Guide 15 was completed within 29 months, which is good for a standard. And that's well under the average development time for a standard or guide. We are pleased to present the 2013 Technical Achievement Award to Dr. Lisa Detter-Hoskins. The next award is one that I don't give that frequently. This is my award to someone who has made a difference that I feel in the industry, and I don't give this every year. I want to give this award, and I'm going to speak from the heart here. I don't have a script. I want to give this award to Karen Kapsanis. How many of you might have read the editorial I wrote in the January JPCL? Well, I don't know how to say it any better than I did, and I won't take much of your time to go over it again. But I will say this, Karen made a difference because every month she put out an outstanding magazine. Every month, I can't think of one that was ever bad. Yeah, some people called with some comments and would say a few things, but Karen put her heart and soul into that magazine for over 25 years. She recently left to go further her education. And for that, I applaud her. She said, on her own terms, she left. She said it was time to go explore different things. And like Ben mentioned, we're not getting any younger. So, I commend her for that. And I wish her the absolute best. I've known her for 19 years. I've worked with her very closely in the 14 years that I've had the privilege of being the executive director of this association. So with this, I'm going to ask Anita Sosi, who has taken Karen's place as editor-in-chief, and don't get me wrong, I have absolute faith in Anita that she'll continue that legacy Karen built and started, and so I would like Anita to accept the award on behalf of Karen. Karen had a few words that Anita's going to pass on, a few words.
Very, very briefly, I know that this job was horribly, horribly important to Karen, as all of you, the readership of JPCL is important to her. And she just wanted to take the opportunity to thank Bill, all the staff of SSPC, all of the readers of the JPCL, everyone who's contributed, everyone who's thought about contributing. just to say thank you. She enjoyed her time working with us, and she's truly humbled, and she wanted me just to tell everybody that. So thank you very much.
And I'm going to present that plaque to her back in Pittsburgh when I go to their offices, and her colleagues and will be there to see her get the award. So I wanted to present and tell you my thoughts about Karen, and but we'll do another ceremony back in front of her colleagues. The next award is the John D. Keene Award of Merit. As you can tell, this is a very important award by the people that Ben recognized when he was up here talking. The John D. Keene Award of Merit acknowledges outstanding leadership and significant contributions to the development of the protective coatings industry and to SSPC. John D. Keene served as SSPC as its executive director from 1957 to 1994. This year's award winner is Mr. Derek Castle. Derek is a chemical and corrosion laboratory specialist with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet and is the section head of that laboratory. Derek holds a Bachelor of Science degree in chemistry from the Morehead State University in Kentucky. Derek has been a member of the SSPC Board of Governors since October 2008. He has served on the Standards Review Committee since 2005 and is presently chairman of that very important committee. He is a member of committees in 4 interest groups: the C1 Coatings Group, where he's a member of 4 subcommittees, the C3 Application Inspection and Quality Control Group, where he's a member of the PA Guide 13 Revision Committee, and the C5 Environmental Health and Safety Group, where he's a member of 3 committees. Lastly, he's a member of the Bridge Coatings Advisory Committee. In the training area, Derek has supported and freely given of his time to the development of the Bridge Coating Inspector course, the Coating Specification Essential course, and the Bridge Maintenance Coatings Assessment course. Derek is well known and well respected in the transportation and bridge community, and being a chemist, he knows his coatings. He's a very active member of the American Association of State Highway Transportation Officials and of the ASTM D1. Over the years, I've gotten to know Derek, and 2 things I can tell you. Man, can he hit a golf ball? Where it goes sometimes is unknown, but he really goes at it. And secondly, don't ever break into his house. He owns an arsenal. So for his contributions to the coatings industry and the enhancement of the association, SSPC is honored to award Mr. Derek Castle the John D. Keene Award. And our last award and most prestigious and highest is the Honorary Life Member Award. The SSPC Honorary Life Member title is bestowed on an individual by the Board of Governors for extraordinary long-term activity on behalf of SSPC. 2/3 of the Board of Governors must approve the recipient of our most prestigious award. This year's honorary life member is Mr. John B. Conamos, CEO of the John B. Conamos Company of Bridgeville, Pennsylvania. John is a graduate of the Carnegie Institute of Technology, now Carnegie Mellon University, where he majored in industrial management. The Conamos name has been associated with the industrial painting industry since 1898 and is now in its 3rd generation of leadership under John. In 1962, he became involved in his family business, Conamos Painting, and then started John B. Conamos Incorporated. In 1967, then started John B. Conamos Incorporated in 1967 and managed both companies until the 1990s when Conamos Painting was merged into John B. Conamos Incorporated. His company works in all facets of field coatings operations, employing approximately 150 personnel during the painting season. In 1999, the John B. Conamos Company received the Family Business of the Year Award from the prestigious University of Pittsburgh's Katz Graduate School of Business Center for Entrepreneurial Excellence, which recognizes positive family business linkage and contribution to their industry and community. Besides SSPC, John is a member of the Chief Executives Association, and the World Presidents Organization, NACE, and PDCA. John has been a member and supporter of SSPC since the 1960s. He served on the committee that founded the PCCP, which I showed you a picture of, and was directly responsible for the development of our disciplinary action criteria, which few certification programs have. It truly added teeth to the program by providing procedures to address those who do not follow the rules. John also represented SSPC in Australia with the Blast Cleaning and Coating Association when it was in existence, when SSPC partnered with them to form their own PCCP program. He has also been a presenter at several SSPC conferences and meetings and has been a member of several technical committees. Most importantly, John has staunchly supported SSPC by having his personnel participating in training, conferences, and other association activities. When the staff has a question about any facet of painting contractor, one of the first calls is the Economos company to get their input. Being one of the largest union contractors in the nation is also helpful to have their feedback when the issue of hiring and training in an open shop versus closed shop comes up. So for his contributions to the coatings industry and the enhancement of this association, SSPC is honored and privileged to award Mr. John B. Economos the title of Honorary Life Member. John wants to say a few words. He has promised me no longer than 2 hours and 30 minutes.
I really appreciate everybody being so kind. The reason I wanted to say a few words was because this organization has a real significance. And being a Greek, Greeks are philosophers, and we are entitled to philosophize because we invented it. However, I have a few words that I would like to say, and I'll try to be as brief as possible. It is indeed an honor to receive this prestigious award from the SSPC. Being honored by an organization that has proven to be so instrumental in advancing my career in the coatings industry is truly special. And I thank the board members, the president, Ben Foltz, executive director, Bill Schaup, and the membership for their kind consideration. I was told that it would be appropriate to say a few words at this time, and at the risk of abusing the term few words, wish to offer my thoughts regarding the history, relevance, and impact the SSPC has made on our industry. Our firm was founded in 1898 by my grandfather, John T. Economos, when he arrived in this country from his native Greece. This probably makes us one of the oldest industrial painting contractors in the country. John T. had learned to mix his own coatings, clean off corrosion, rig scaffolding, and other incidentals of the trade by on-the-job training that he learned in the Merchant Marine. His skills had no formal context and were based strictly on his hands-on experience. The newly emerging industrial companies in the USA needed these skills to construct and maintain their facilities, so he was able to make a go of it in his newfound country. My dad used to joke with our customers, claiming that Andrew Carnegie brought his dad over from Greece to paint his smokestacks. I can't confirm the veracity of this claim, but nevertheless, it still makes a good story, and who knows, it might be true. But I digress. The point I am trying to make is that our industry did not have a truly definitive compilation of methods and practices that provided the standards for industrial coating application until much later in time. I'm sure some work had been done developing specifications and coating systems by the government, but it was not until the early 50s when the SSPC became a truly effective organization that definitive information was developed and distributed. Driven by industry leaders, contractors, chemists, and government support, they worked together and were able to establish a truly effective technical organization for our industry. I have a copy here of the first edition, Volume 2, Systems and Specifications. I don't know how many of you have ever seen one of these. This is a first edition, and it was published in 1955. Edited by Joe Bigos and an impressive list of contributors, this book was a key resource for me starting out in the painting business at the age of 15. My father handed me this book and said, if you learn what is in this book and adhere to its principles, you will be successful in our business. I believe my dad was right, as it certainly was a great learning tool and was a key factor in building our business philosophies and methods. Today, the SSPC organization has grown in scope and services, and its documents and educational opportunities represent the worldwide standards for our industry. SSPC should be proud of its accomplishments, and I am proud of my small role in its growth and development. Once again, I thank you for this honor. After 58 years in this industry, it is truly gratifying to receive this very special recognition from an organization that I truly respect and believe in. Thank you.
Okay, with that, last year Bob McMurdy put some liquor up here, and I swigged it down and I said, I'm done. So I'm done. And I turn it back over to the SSPC President, Ben Foltz.
Thank you, Bill. Just a couple of points. First of all, this is a business meeting. Does anybody have any new business they'd like to bring before the group? Okay, with that being said, I'd like to do a couple of other points. Number one, visit the exhibit hall. People put a lot of work into this, and I personally get as much out of the exhibit hall as any other part of this operation. That's where the new technology is. That's where you have an opportunity to talk to the people in your industry to get the information that you need. I know, like equipment, every year there's some new development in equipment, the new coating systems. So visit the exhibits. Second one is that I talked about earlier, volunteer. Volunteer to be in the committees. We need your technical expertise in the committees. We'd like to grow these committees to the size where we can't get people in the room like we used to have at one point in time. Thirdly, young people. Bring them into the industry. It's really our future. So that concludes this part of the convention.